live here on Saints Now, presented by Prize Picks. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard, and we are entering the third week of the NFL preseason here in 2026. We are so close to real football being back. You can almost taste it. And we got a loaded show here for you on the program. If you want to join the show, as always, feel free to send in a super chat or use hashtag Saints. And we have a lot of things to discuss. First thing that we're going to talk about here on this live edition of Saints Now. So we're going to go through some cut candidates from ESPN. They put out their roster projection. Cat Terrell did an awesome job. So we're going to go through each position, talk about the players that got cut, and I'm going to give you my takes. Plus, the Saints might have a big problem. What could that be? Stick around to find out. And we're going to do a mailbag, as always, with the Golden Gang. So you do use those hashtag Saints to ask questions, share hot takes, anything like that. And then if you want to skip the line and spend a few extra minutes on your question, go into a little bit more in-depth analysis, then make sure you use the super chat function or the Venmo/Cash App as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a couple of shout-outs to those of you rocking and rolling with us. Give me a who dat in the live chat if you are rocking and rolling wherever you're tuning in from. I want to hear from you. I see Chriselle, Nola Chop Podcast, Jerry G, Bayou Raider. He says, I'm passing through today, but you never know. What are you thinking? Hey, I got some brewskis in the studio. $100 as always. You say, if anyone wants to bang, then we can throw down a couple. How about, what if we did a Monday $100 beer bong race? Just to get the week started. You think you'd cook me? I think I'd dust you. I think I would dust you. There's no question about it. I would smoke you.
No, that's cute.
Like I'm
cute
Willie
that you
Nelson.
Think that. It's cute that you think that.
I'm Willie Nelson and you're a joint. I'm smoking you in a beer bong battle.
I'm so glad that you still think that.
Bayou Raider, you want to see us? You want to see who's the quicker funnel drinker? $100 super chat. We'll race. It won't just be us chugging. It's actually racing. We're gonna see.
Bayou's familiar with my game. He's seen me enough times.
Bayou's been around the Chat Sports block for a while, so he knows what the fuck is going on.
He knows
here.
who can chug and who can't.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, we also have a Monday special deal that we like to offer on all of our Monday live shows. We do giveaways on our Sunday watch parties, or this week it's going to be Friday watch party.
Yeah.
Last couple weeks it's been Saturday.
It's Saturday.
My point being,
actual Sunday watch
on
party.
game days, we like to do raffles. This weekend, on Friday, the New Orleans Saints take on the Dallas Cowboys. Surely there won't be any fights, right? We are going to be giving away one of these T-shirts, the Saints Now brand new logo merch. If you would like to get 2 tickets, you can send $5 today. $10, you can spin the ticket wheel, and all ticket values are worth 2x. So you could get up to 20 tickets if you want to enter the giveaway. Send in a Venmo, a Cash App, or a Super Chat, and you can enter the raffle ahead of time. Last week, nobody took advantage of the 2x tickets, which I was actually kind of shocked by. Normally on Mondays, we at least have a couple people get their raffle tickets ahead of time. But last week, we didn't have any. And this week, maybe that will change. Maybe this will help you out. I will say Mikey Taylor has been somebody who's been getting in a lot of these, and he ended up winning the giveaway last week. So
good for Mikey.
You know, I do
love to see it for
I
him.
do like to think that if you get in the raffle early, your ticket's a little extra strength to that raffle ticket, if you will. Maybe there's a little extra incentive to win that raffle if it's one of you. So if you would like to enter a little bit ahead of time, $5. Normally on game day, it's 1 ticket. Here on Mondays, it's 2 tickets. $10, you get to spin the ticket wheel, and all ticket values are worth 2x, so you could win up to 20 tickets by sending in a $10 Super Chat, Venmo, or Cash App. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to send in a donation, please feel free to do so and ask a question, share a hot take, and we can have a conversation around the black and gold. Now, name a player that you think the New Orleans Saints should cut. I want to hear from you, Who Dat Nation. Who's a player that you think could be on the chopping block? I see Jerry G, Kuno Edits, Nola Chop Podcast, all in the live chat right now. Trayvon, good to see you. Bayou Raider, he's reminding everyone to hit the thumbs up icon, drop a like on this video.
Listen to Bayou.
Bayou Raider knows what's going on. Kuno, good to see you. He says, it's wild out here. Chriselle, man, I saw your post about Deshaun Watson. We did not dodge a bullet. We dodged a nuke.
That's true.
Yeah, honestly, dodging a bullet is a little bit of an understatement. You dodged
Dodge a bullet, putting it nicely, actually.
Could you imagine if we had to deal with Deshaun Watson at this point?
Remember when the Saints were the favorite?
Dude, yes. Like, we almost got real-life Deshaun Watson in New Orleans. Oh, my God, it would have been disgusting. Would have been terrible. By the way, at practice today, 22 players missed due to injuries. Might be the most
How
banged up
promising.
training camp. Yeah, exactly. How promising. Might be the most injured training camp I've ever seen with the New Orleans Saints. Like, I can genuinely tell you, or I genuinely
That
can't
actually
think of
says
another
something.
summer that had more injuries. I'm not saying like bigger injuries, but I'm saying more injuries. It's insane.
I don't know how the Saints are just injured every year. Like, teams get on their, like, bad luck year.
Yeah.
It seems it's every year. It's an abundance of injuries.
It's always
so
something, man.
early in the year.
It's always something. It's so frustrating. U.S. Champ says cut Charlie Smith. Kudo says cut Tanner Brown. Also Kendre Miller. Keep Daniel Carlson. What's so crazy? My Saints hashtag Saints is related to that. Okay, good to know. I love football. Chriselle, good to see you in the live chat. Let me know who's a player the Saints should cut. Sound off in the comment section.
I think everybody's hitting the nail on the head today. I think Charlie Smith and Tanner Brown.
Yeah, that's kind of
both could be cut in the next 7 days.
That's kind of the obvious ones, if you ask me. Ladies and gentlemen, friendly reminder, by the way, if you haven't already, to drop a like on the live stream. 32 people watching. I want to see 32 likes on this stream. We are currently sitting at 10, so we need 22 of you to get it together.
Hit the
and
like
thumbs up
button.
icon. Drop a like on the live
If
stream.
you're cool, you hit the like button.
I'll tell you what, we'll get started with the program talking about the latest news and rumors once we get to 20 likes. The first thing we're going to talk about is cut candidates based on ESPN's 53-man roster projection. We are going to get to that momentarily, but we got to get to 20 likes first. And while you're dropping a like, if you would like to join the program, like I said at the beginning of the show, use hashtag Saints or send in a super chat. If you send a super chat, we spend a few extra minutes on your question. You send $5, you actually get some raffle tickets to potentially win a Saints Now t-shirt. $10, you get to spin the wheel to win up to 20 tickets, and we will be giving that away on game day Friday evening versus the Dallas Cowboys at the end of the watch party. So if you want to enter the raffle, I encourage you to send in a super chat. If you'd like to get onto the program, send in a super chat or use hashtag Saints. U.S. Champ, are we getting Overreaction Monday? Not today. We are not doing Overreaction Monday. We had some roster news come in early this morning, so I wanted to make sure that we were able to provide that update to you. Normally, Overreaction Monday is our Monday morning segment because by the time we get to Monday evening, there's more information to share, and we're kind of past all that. So at this point, that's kind of where we're at. We are now here at Monday evening. We got some news, some injury updates and stuff to discuss. We got some roster projections to break down and go through, so a lot of important information to break down here. Kuno, hashtag Saints, what running back are y'all considering to cut and why? That's a great question.
Yeah. We actually have a name that might kind of shock some of you.
Yeah, exactly. Nola Chop Podcast saying, what's the intel on the newest running back, Zamir White? I mean, he's only scored 2 career touchdowns, 700-plus yards throughout his whole career. 4th-round pick out of Georgia. Spent the last few years with the Las Vegas Raiders. Signed with the San Francisco 49ers on August 12th. So it's 11 days later, he's traded away to the New Orleans Saints. Hasn't really done anything too crazy. Last year was a healthy scratch for most of the season, honestly. So I don't think that he's somebody who's going to necessarily have a massive impact on the roster. I think that he's more so of a camp body, training camp player, somebody that can play in the preseason, get those snaps at the running back position. You have a lot of injuries piling up in the running back room. Most recently, it's Ty Chandler, Devin Neal, and Alvin Kamara are the 3 running backs dealing with injuries. Audric Estime did return to practice here on Monday's walkthrough, so that is pretty good news in terms of the running back room. But, I mean, that area was very, very loaded and had a ton of depth, and now very quickly it is starting to dwindle due to injuries. So that's an example of how it works. Hashtag Saints. You ask a question, we give you your answer and your thoughts, or we give you all the info you want to know. Nola Chop Podcast, thank you. Bayou Raiders says Zamir has high upside, but was behind a terrible line. Good to know.
It is kind of funny. Saints just going after all the former Raiders today.
Yeah. Well, I also know that Zamir White completely dismantled the Kansas City Chiefs this past year on Christmas Day, I believe. If I remember correctly.
Maybe it wasn't on Christmas Day. 2 years ago.
2 years ago was on Christmas Day, but I know that he absolutely has dismantled.
Yeah, because going into that year when he was looked as the RB1, people were really high on him.
Yeah, for sure. Bayou Raider, thank you for your insight as a Raiders fan. Obviously, he spent his whole career with the Raiders, so it's good to know a little bit more information about the newest member of the Black and Gold. Nolan Chop Podcast, U.S. Champ. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We're 3 likes away from getting started on the program. If you want this party to get this thing going, hit the thumbs up icon, drop a like. Once we get to 20 likes, we will start the show. We will get into the first segment. Cut candidates from ESPN's 53-man roster projection. Chris Sale, for me, Isaac Yiadom needs to be cut for sure. Hey, we're going to see if he ends up getting cut in this roster projection. We're 3 likes away, though, from
2
finding
now.
out. We're 2 likes away.
Hit
Can
the
2
like
people hit the
button.
thumbs up icon for me right here, right now? 33 people watching. I know somebody can drop a like for me. By the way, in case you missed it, the Saints last night traded Deion Jones for Zamir White, and today they signed Daniel Carlson, the former Raiders kicker. That happened earlier this morning. We've put out content around both roster moves that the New Orleans Saints made. I think that this trade was kind of a push. Thanks for giving us an extra piece in the running back room, San Francisco, but also, like, I don't think either Deion Jones or Zamir White were truly going to make the roster. I think that they're kind of practice squad, training camp type players. Maybe they end up getting elevated to the game day roster, but I ultimately don't see them having a massive, massive impact with the starters. So that's just kind of my 2 cents on it. Now, Dan Carlson, on the other hand, he could end up actually winning this kicker competition. It's very evident that Kellen Moore is not happy with Tanner Brown and Charlie Smith. That's why they brought him in. All righty. We're going to break down the first segment. We are now at 25 likes. Thank you guys for helping us cross over that. Let's get this party started. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard from my guy Loco Lopez. We're going to get into the first video of our live show, which is Cut Candidates from ESPN. If you are having a good time, make sure you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to Saints Now. And without further ado, Lopez, let me take a sip of water and we can get this thing going.
Hell yeah. Remember to get those hashtag Saints in too, because we will be doing mailbag at the end of today's video or today's live. So please get those questions early and often.
All righty. Little League World Series going on. Japan versus Czechia. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I'm fading Japan. All right. Let's do it. I didn't see it. Let's talk Saints ball. Who cares about Japanese Little League World Series baseball when we have New Orleans Saints football to talk about? All right. Lopez, whenever you're ready. Yep. You're watching Saints Now, presented by Prize Picks. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. For today's video, we're going to go through some cut candidates based on ESPN's 53-man roster projection by Catherine Terrell. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to download the Prize Picks app today, use the promo code HMA. Play $5, get $150 in bonus lineups if you win. We'll tell you more later on in this show. Now, how this is going to work, we're going to go position by position, who Cat Terrell had making the roster, and I'm going to give you my reactions and my takeaways, and we're going to go through the notable cut candidates in this list. Let's start off with the quarterback position. We'll go offense, go defense, and then go special teams. Tyler Shuck, Zach Wilson, and Spencer Rattler in this order. They were the quarterbacks listed. Now, I will say for this, I think Tyler Shuck is very obviously the QB1. This is his football team. But the QB2 battle has been underwhelming, to say the least. I don't think either Spencer Rattler or Zach Wilson have really separated themselves in the backup quarterback battle. And quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if both players end up making the roster simply because neither one of them truly has, separated themselves as the QB2, making the other one expendable. I think you kind of want to continue to work with both guys. I think you're kind of happy with having both of them around, but at the end of the day, I personally think that your best case scenario is Tyler Shuck just staying healthy, and you'd never have to see Wilson or Rattler take the field. Now, I want you to get down in the comment section and name 3 players that you think the New Orleans Saints should cut. Sound off, put on your general manager caps, and get down in the comment section. Now, in the running back department, Cat Terrell had the Saints keeping 5 players: Alvin Kamara, Travis Etienne, Zamir White, Audric Estime, and Kendre Miller. Now, there's one name that's glaringly obvious that's missing here, and that's going to be running back Devin Neal. Excuse me, I almost said Devin Miller. Devin Neal. He's currently dealing with a hamstring injury, and according to new reports, he could be missing some time due to that injury. ESPN did not include him in the roster projection. So he's a player that could potentially end up on IR. Maybe they just end up cutting him and letting him heal on the practice squad. I don't necessarily know what's going to happen. But with Devin Neal, I do think that the fact that he is dealing with another hamstring injury is a little bit of a concern. He suffered a hamstring injury in December of 2025, which sidelined him for the remainder of the season. And it's the same leg that he hurt, which is a total doozy. Neal is a good running back. You cannot convince me otherwise. But this is now his second hamstring injury just this summer. Like, he might have worn out his treads at Kansas. He was a workhorse for the Jayhawks, the all-time leading rusher, led a lot of statistical categories, 760 carries, over 430 yards on the ground, 49 rushing touchdowns, 4 touchdowns through the air, over 700 yards through the air on 77 catches. I fear that this is a player who came into the NFL already worn down because of how much use Kansas gave him in college. I'm a big Devin Neal guy, but if he can't be healthy, Zamir White really could end up making the roster considering the Saints traded Deion Jones for him. I think they view running back as a pretty big need. Now let's go to the wide receiver room. Chris Olave, Devon Vele, Barian Brown, Bryce Lance, and Bub Means. Nothing too crazy right here. I think keeping 5 wide receivers would make some sense. If Jordan Tyson were healthy, I would go ahead and just keep 6. That way you can have that extra depth. But the notable cut candidates from the wide receiver position, Mason Tipton, Kevin Austin Jr., and Trey Palmer. Now I think Mason Tipton is a player that has been really fun, and he has an awesome story. Being a UDFA out of Yale, has been a preseason Prince multiple years in a row, but hasn't been active at all this summer. Trey, due to injury, it was a surgery on a tibia, I believe is what it was. Trey Palmer has been productive, has been working with the kick return team. He's been somebody who can contribute in special teams, and he's somebody that, maybe could end up making an impact on the roster, but probably on the practice squad. And Kevin Austin Jr. has been around with New Orleans for some time. But Jordan Tyson specifically, I think that he's somebody to keep your eyes on because I think he's actually going to end up on the short-term IR. Remember, hamstring injury that's expected to keep him out for roughly 2 months. So with the wide receiver position, you get him back. I think you can still roll with the players that Cat Terrell laid out, but obviously you're going to have to make some tough decisions in that area of the roster. We're going to get this conversation continued in just a moment. But first, we got to tell you about our friends over at Chubby's. Ladies and gentlemen, one of my favorite sponsors is back with us. Fellas, we are just weeks away from the best time of the year. That's right. Football season has arrived, and it's time to get ready for game day. Lucky for all of us, the NFL by Chubby's collection is available for another season, and it's just what you need for tailgating, grilling, and fantasy football winning. Head on over to chubbyshorts.com and use promo code CHATSPORTS to get $20 off your purchase, and that does include the NFL by Chubby's collection. With bold designs featuring your favorite teams, Chubby's game day gear isn't just comfortable, it's a statement. You can rep Saints logos in wildly comfortable polos, gym-ready mesh shorts, and wave-making swim trunks. I will tell you right now, Chubby's is one of my favorite brands of clothing. Not only are the designs absolutely fresh, it's comfortable. It looks really good. Maddie can't keep her hands off of me. I'm telling you, the reason I got engaged this summer, fellas, is because I had some of this Chubby's gear. So you need to upgrade your wardrobe and get ready for game day. Head on over to Chubby's. Click the link down in the comments and description of this video to get started today. For a limited time, Chubby's is giving viewers of Saints Now $20 off your full price purchase with our code CHATSPORTS. That's code CHATSPORTS at chubbyshorts.com. And that does include the NFL by Chubby's collection. Support our show and tell them that we sent you. Stand out from the crowd and level up your game day wardrobe with Chubby's by clicking the link down in the comments and description of this video today. Alrighty, let's continue on with the roster projection from Catherine Terrell of ESPN heading over to the tight end position. She had the New Orleans Saints keeping 3 tight ends. They do have a handful of players in the room already, But 3 is the number that Cat Terrell landed on. Now, I do think that the New Orleans Saints need to make a tough decision when it comes to the tight end room because you have to weigh the priorities. Is it going to be an extra guy in the tight end room, understanding you're going to utilize a lot of multiple tight end sets and you're going to lean on this possession a lot? Or are you going to want that extra running back or that extra linebacker or that extra lineman, that extra receiver? Like, there's a lot of different ways that the New Orleans Saints could go about this. But for Catherine Terrell of ESPN, she actually had Maliki Madaval be cut in this instance. And, I think that she believes there's bigger needs for the New Orleans Saints. And I don't think that that's a bad take by any means. And I think especially considering he's expected to miss some time due to a knee injury, that does make a little bit more sense to me where he can get healthy because I don't think that he's somebody that's going to get poached away on a practice squad if he ends up in that area. So obviously the New Orleans Saints going with 3 tight ends. Love Juwan Johnson. Really excited about Noah Fant. And I think Oscar Delp is a really fascinating developmental project. Now with the offensive line, we're going to head on over to the trenches. Catherine Terrell had the Saints keeping 9 players, your obvious starting 5, and then the depth pieces being Jeremiah Wright, Asim Richards, William Sherman, and Torricelli Simpkins. Now, Dylan Raines obviously was placed on season-ending IR due to a torn ACL, and I think that the New Orleans Saints have a good offensive line. They just need to put themselves in a better position by staying healthy. Like, that's the big, big caveat. The other thing, the biggest weakness, is obviously Cesar Ruiz. And despite what a lot of us fans want to do and despite what a lot of us fans feel, the smart decision is not cutting Cesar Ruiz. That is actually a really, really bad idea. The grass is not always greener the minute you cut Cesar Ruiz. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. I don't think Jeremiah Wright is quite ready yet. I think he will get there, and I think that he is a great option to be the long-term play for the Saints offensive line, starting right guard. But I think throwing him into the Wolves week 1 would be a bad idea, which is why I think Cesar Ruiz needs to be the starter, and he cannot be a cut candidate this season for the black and gold. Let's go over to defense now, because I think that this is going to be a really fascinating squad by the black and gold. Brandon Staley has a lot of players to work with, and it obviously starts in the trenches. ESPN's Catherine Terrell has the Saints keeping 10 defensive linemen. Cam Jordan, Chase Young, Carl Granderson, Tyree Wilson, and Anthony Jennings are going to be your edge rushers. And then for the interior of the defensive line, Nathan Shepard, Vernon Broughton, John Ridgway, Christian Miller, and Devon Godshaw. Now, I really think that you could get away with an extra edge rusher. Honestly, I wouldn't be upset if you had an extra defensive lineman because that's an area where the Saints, I feel like, a little bit weak. And so if you have another injury settle in, like that just to me would give you a little bit more confidence. But I did notice that Michael Heldman was not listed on the roster projection for the Saints. I think that he could make a case to end up making the 53-man roster. But I do believe he will likely end up on the practice squad. The case that he could make is that he is a young player that was really, really good, has shown some big flashes, and if he ends up on the practice squad, another team could go poach him without the Saints being able to do anything about it. So my big fear is that you put Michael Heldman on the practice squad, and then he ends up getting poached by another team, and then you're down this player. I'm a really big fan of him. I think that he is a fun guy, and I like what I have seen from Mike Heldman so far. So I'm just kind of a little bit weary of this because I don't want to see him get poached by another squad and then go end up lighting it up and having a great career, which would be so on par, by the way. Linebacker room. ESPN has 5 linebackers: Caden Ellis, Pete Werner, Danny Stutzman, Jalen Ford, and Isaiah Stallbird. Obviously, the New Orleans Saints traded away Deion Jones in order to acquire running back Zamir White, so he will not be included in this. Chris Rumpf, he's been a player that's been working with the linebackers throughout training camp. He's been an edge rusher. They moved him to the linebacker position, but he did suffer an injury to his ankle, so that's something that he's trying to battle back from to be able to be healthy. Catherine Terrell did not include him in this list. So maybe he ends up on IR. Maybe he ends up just getting cut. Who knows what will happen with Chris Rumpf. But at the end of the day, I think that that's a player that I was excited to see in the linebacker room. So if he can get healthy, I really would be fascinated to see what Brandon Staley does with Chris Rumpf. But I want to talk about Danny Stutzman because I think him having a bigger role in the defense is going to be so much fun to watch. I cannot wait to see how Danny Stutzman impacts the New Orleans Saints this year. Because I think that as the season goes on, his role will continue to evolve and continue to grow. I think he's just such a fascinating football player. And I think that Brandon Staley has a weapon with Danny Stutzman. Really, really eager to see him get on the field on Sundays. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to continue this conversation with some defensive backs and special teams here in just 1 second, but we also wouldn't be able to do today's show if it weren't for our friends over at Prize Picks. As I said earlier off the top of this video, if you download Prize Picks, new users, you play $5, you'll get $150 in bonus lineups if you win. All you got to do is plug in the promo code HMA. PrizePicks is the best way to put your ball knowledge to the test, whether you're tuning into football, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, tennis, esports, racing, golf, fighting, lacrosse, darts. I mean, the possibilities truly are endless over on PrizePicks. Now, I got what I like to call a can't-lose lineup for week 1 of the NFL season. I put $10 down to win $275. Daniil Hunter, I just need him to get 1 sack. CeeDee Lamb, I need him to catch 1 touchdown. Sam Darnold, they have a guaranteed pick right there, only half a passing yard. Add that into your Prize Picks lineup. That way you can maximize your winnings. And then I put Chase Young to get at least a quarter a sack. Are you kidding me? He's definitely going to go get at least 1 sack. And Tyler Shuck just has to throw 2 touchdowns. 1 to Chris Olave, 1 to Juwan Johnson. We're good. We do all this in week 1. I put $10 to win $275. I'm not telling you to spend your money on this. I am not a financial advisor, but I will tell you this feels like pretty good odds, if you ask me, or a pretty good chance to turn into some cold, hard cash. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to win money on Saints game day, download Prize Picks today. Use our promo code HMA. New users, if you play $5, you get $150 in bonus lineups if you win. Shout out to Prize Picks, where it's always good to be right. Click the link down in the comments and description of this video to get started today. Now let's go to the cornerbacks, and then we'll go to safeties, and then we'll go to special teams. Kool-Aid McKinstry, Martin Emerson Jr. ends up making the roster. Catherine Terrell actually has the Saints keeping both Isaac Yiadom and Martin Emerson, Quincy Riley, and then Jaden Price as your 5 cornerbacks for the New Orleans Saints. The notable cut candidates that Catherine Terrell did not include in a roster projection: Rajon Wright, he actually got placed on IR on Monday. TJ Hall Jr., the rookie that the New Orleans Saints drafted at the end of the 2026 NFL draft, and then Dallas Beenham, a UDFA that joined New Orleans last year, has had some good moments throughout camp. He ultimately did not make it the cut for this one. Now, here is what Catherine Terrell has said about Jaden Price, because she put him on the roster, and I actually think that that's a pretty good take if you ask me. Jaden Price, a 2024 UDFA who spent time on the Saints practice squad last season, played his way onto the roster with a consistently good camp, including an interception in the first preseason game. He has backed up Jonas Sanker at the star position. I've been very, very impressed with Jaden Price. I think that he's one of those guys who just continues to take advantage of his opportunities, and I truly think that he has earned the opportunity to be on the 53-man roster. And it's no disrespect to Lorenzo Styles by any means. I just think Jaden Price has been awesome. And you need to reward good football, because good players will go out there and give you good production. And quite frankly, if Jonas Sanker goes down, Jaden Price can impact the game in a lot of ways, not just on defense, but also in special teams as well. So I think that Jaden Price is definitely somebody who I would put onto the roster. He has been a really, really fun player this summer. For the safety position, ESPN's Catherine Terrell had the Saints keeping Julian Blackmon, Justin Reed, Jordan Howden, Jonas Sanker, and Terrell Burgess. Now, one name sticks out that's not on this list. That's going to be Lorenzo Styles. Obviously, Catherine Terrell opting to keep Jonas Sanker and Jaden Price as your stars. Lorenzo Styles did not make the cut in this exercise. He has shined as a gunner. He has had some good moments in defense, but he is dealing with a calf injury, and I think that he could use a little bit more development. I mean, the athleticism sticks out in a big, big way, but he's been getting beat a lot. And, you know, there has been some good moments. There have been some struggling moments. Ultimately, Catherine Terrell opts to roll with Jaden Price versus Lorenzo Styles, and here's why. Styles becomes the odd man out here with veteran Terrell Burgess making the roster again. Styles, a 5th-round pick, can stick around on the practice squad. My fear, if Lorenzo Styles does go on the practice squad, is that he would end up getting poached, similar to Mike Heldman. I think that he is a talented player. He was a 5th-round pick. He has at least a decent enough name to catch the attention of other NFL scouting departments. So at the end of the day, I do fear if you put him on the practice squad, he could get poached away, but, that's just kind of the risk you take putting these players on the practice squad. Now let's go to special teams here to round this video out. Zach Wood, Ryan Wright, Tanner Brown. Those are going to be the three that she kept. Obviously, the New Orleans Saints signed Dan Carlson. She put this out, or at least did this exercise before Dan Carlson signed with the New Orleans Saints. So just keep that in mind. Here's what she said around special teams. Does either kicker want the job? Talking about Charlie Smith and Tanner Brown. Smith entered the edge due to his time with the team, but a couple of 3 missed days in practice were concerning. Tanner Brown looked good, like he could be taking the lead because of that, but his only kick in Saturday's game was a miss. The kickers might not even be on the roster, or the kicker might not even be on the roster right now, and this position is certainly up for grabs. I agree. I think it certainly is up for grabs, and I think that the kicker is now on the roster. I'm not actually disagreeing with Kat Terrell whatsoever in that. I definitely think that the kicker was not going to be Charlie Smith or Tanner Brown. It's been a liability, to be totally honest. Dan Carlson brings a lot of consistency, a lot of experience, a hell of a leg. He was 37 of 51 from 50-plus throughout his career, including 5 made 50-yard field goals last year, a long of 60 yards, which he hit last year. I think that this special teams department just continues to be a very frustrating area, and you've addressed the punter. That's been a revolving carousel for some time now. You got Ryan Wright. You signed him. He looks awesome. So we're good there. Now we need the kicker, because the kicker carousel has not stopped spinning since Will Lutz left New Orleans. And quite frankly, that's a really, really frustrating thing. You need accuracy. You need a good leg. And you need somebody who can be clutch. Quite frankly, the New Orleans Saints just need to get their kicker figured out because you got the other parts of special teams squared away. Now let's recap really quickly the notable cuts that ESPN made, starting off with offense, and then obviously Charlie Smith here. Devin Neal, Mason Tipton, Kevin Austin Jr., Trey Palmer, Maliki Mataval. Those are going to be the notable cuts that Catherine Terrell made on offense. Charlie Smith was the notable cut for special teams, and Mike Heldman, Chris Rumpf, Rajon Wright, TJ Hall, Dallas Beanham, and Lorenzo Styles were the notable cuts on the defensive side of the football. Remember, Rajon Wright placed on IR here on Monday. Now, which player that ESPN cut would you like to keep on the roster? I think a lot of people are probably going to say Mike Heldman or Lorenzo Styles. I would go with one of those players probably, but if Devin Neal can get healthy, I might include him over Zamir White. But that's just my personal opinion. It's now your turn to sound off. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with us here on this episode of Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. If you want more content just like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Lock us in for 100% free videos by fans for fans, and y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time. All right. 2 more segs to go. That was a little bit of a longer one. 2 more to go. The New Orleans Saints have a major, major problem, by the way. Lopez, can we show the Super Chat deal real fast? Ladies and gentlemen, we are giving away a t-shirt in preseason week 3 against the Cowboys. We like to do a lot of giveaways during our watch parties, and this is your opportunity to get ahead of the curve. If you want some tickets and you want to maximize your ticket winning, what I recommend doing is spending a $10 Super Chat. You get to spin the ticket wheel, and all values on there are doubled. So you could get up to 20 tickets because there's a 10x ticket box. If you hit it, you get 20 tickets for $10. It's a pretty good deal. Normally $5 is 1 ticket. Today, it's 2 tickets. And if you want to spin the wheel, $10. We're giving away this t-shirt on Friday. So if you would like to get in on the raffle, I highly encourage you. Nobody has sent one in yet. I might offer up an extra raffle ticket for the first person. I'm just going to say that. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm going to make that a definitive statement. First person to send in a super chat of $5 or more, you get 1 extra t-shirt raffle ticket.
It's not a bad deal. If you want to be the next owner of some Saints Now merch, get that $5 super chat in. Get some raffle tickets.
Yeah, come on now. Come on now. Who wants to get in on the giveaway? Is anybody? I will set a short timer. Let's set 60 seconds on the clock. Does anybody, if anyone wants one, you have 60 seconds before we get to the next segment. 60 seconds. Kuno Edit says Lorenzo Styles. Devin Neal from I Love Football. Michael Heldman. Take TJ Hall over Isaac Yadam. Interesting. Yeah, Xavier Wright is headed to LSU, so he's sticking around in Louisiana. 30 seconds remaining. If you would like to enter the raffle, we're going to get to the next segment here in about 30 seconds. That doesn't mean it's your last chance, but I will say, like, we're going to, if you send in Super Chat, we're going to be talking some football. So, about 20 seconds remaining. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All righty. We will keep this thing rolling. Queen Courtney with his $2 Super Chat. Both Auburn boys, Daniel Carlson and Jeremiah Wright, will make the roster. Let's do it. That is true. They did. Or they will, I think.
We'll pop that up before we get into this next one.
Yes, we will pop up Queen Courtney's Super Chat, and then we'll get into the next segment.
Once it loads in. We're getting there.
Mad Drummer, LSU got 2 NFL players. Yes, they did. Daquan Wright and Xavier Harris. Queen Courtney wants a jersey for one of the Auburn guys. You got to get one, Queen Courtney. That'd be so sick.
Shout out Queen Courtney for the $2 Super Chat.
That'd be so sick if you're able to get one. That would be so cool. Thank you for your $2 donation, Queen Courtney. We really appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Hope life is treating you great. We miss you out here in Texas, but I know that you're living the dream. Alrighty, Lopez. Let's get into the next segment here.
Get a little cold open on this one.
Oh, yeah. Did you know that the Saints had over 20 players miss practice today? Missed the walkthrough practice today? Isn't that crazy?
I did know that, but only because I'm subscribed to Saints Now by
Isn't
Chat
that
Sports on
crazy?
YouTube.
Isn't that insane? Lopez knows what's up because he's subscribed. Yeah, by the way, tell your friends and your family to subscribe to the channel. I know everyone watching right now is probably subscribed, so I appreciate you. But if you need more Saints content, or you know your friends need more content, then make sure you drop a sub and share the video with the squad. Alrighty, 56 people rocking and rolling with us live here on YouTube. Coming up, we're going to be talking about the New Orleans Saints because they might have a major problem, and we're going to break it on down in this episode of Saints Now. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. Lopez, are you ready to roll? Totally good. All right, don't forget to drop a like. Let's get into segment number 2 of the day. Yes, just price picks. Yep. The New Orleans Saints might have a major problem on their hands, and we're going to talk about it on this episode of Saints Now presented by Prize Picks. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. Make sure you stick around throughout the duration of this video. The injury bug has made its presence known in a big way for the black and gold. I personally believe that we're just a few significant injuries away from the season completely being derailed. I mean, I'm talking 1, 2, 3 major injuries. This year will completely go to waste. And I am absolutely horrified because this is totally absurd. Over 20 players missed practice on Monday's walkthrough. Multiple players are expected to miss time. The injuries just do not stop for the New Orleans Saints. I mean, like, I'm not even kidding. If it's not going to be your starters, it's going to be your backups. And like everyone is getting hurt. It's all notable players, and it's extremely, extremely frustrating. I can't believe the fact that we have already this many notable injuries where players are going to be missing significant time. Dylan Radins and Brian Brzee both torn ACLs. Cam Jordan could have his hamstring injury carry on into the season. Jordan Tyson expected to miss 2 months. Alvin Kamara expected to miss a month. Oh, and by the way, Lorenzo Styles, Maliki Mataval, Ty Chandler, according to Kellen Moore, they're going to have time lost. Rajon Wright has been placed on IR. Audric Estime returned to practice, which is good news. But Devin Neal, Quincy Riley, Mason Tipton, Torricelli Simpkins, Lorenzo Styles, Bub Means, these guys all missed practice. I mean, this isn't awesome. So many injuries. Such a frustrating situation. And I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you have one freaking injury, and I swear to God, if it's Tyler Shuck, this is going to be a big-time problem. This season will be very, very bad. Now, I got a lot of concerns around the offense, and they all revolve around injuries. And honestly, the offensive line depth, it really hasn't been great. I think that's one of my biggest concerns for the New Orleans Saints. It's got to be the depth in the trenches. I mean, and we know Eric McCoy has not proven to be healthy and stick around for a whole season for a couple years now. We also know that Kelvin Banks, Talisifuaga, great players. We know David Edwards, great player. We know Cesar Ruiz, frustrating player, but, he's serviceable enough. I think the offensive line depth during the preseason with Asim Richards, William Sherman, Simpkins, Jeremiah Wright, Xavier Truss, Barry Wesley, I think these guys haven't been good enough. They've struggled. And it gives me a lot of concerns and makes me very nervous if, God forbid, Eric McCoy gets hurt again. I don't like having Torricelli Simpkins go out there and be your starter. I don't care that you could move Cesar Ruiz to center and then elevate Jeremiah Wright. I don't think that's a good idea either. If the offensive line gets hurt, we are in a really, really bad situation because the quarterback will suffer, the running back will suffer, everyone will suffer on the offensive side of the football if the injuries start piling up for the O-line. But the quarterback, oh my God, I'm telling you right now, we cannot afford Tyler Shuck getting hurt this year. That is not something that can happen. I don't care if these offensive linemen have to die on the field protecting Tyler Shuck. I'm not actually saying that, but you know what I mean here. The quarterback depth behind Tyler Shuck has been atrocious. Hunter Decker is not good. There's no way around it. Spencer Rattler, Zach Wilson, neither one of these guys has stepped up and taken over the role for the QB2. I tweeted this out during the Saints game against the Rams, which was atrocious, by the way. I have absolutely no confidence in the backup quarterback situation. Tyler Shuck has to stay healthy. If he gets hurt, this season is absolutely going down the drain. But one big benefit around Tyler Shuck staying healthy is that we've seen him win with a supporting cast of literal fry cooks. We have seen him elevate the roster around him. We have seen him take over football games. We have seen him come from behind and win football games. Tyler Shuck, as long as you got number 6, you have a chance. And if you don't have Tyler Shuck, I got 2 words for you, Saints fans. Shuck it, baby! If you want to get yourself some merch, we have it available. Shop the Saints Now merch collection by clicking the link down in the comments and description of this video. Chatsports.com/Saints Now. We have the Shuck It shirts completely restocked, all sizes available, as well as some other merch too. So make sure you go check it out right here, right now. Click the link down in the comments and description of this video to get started today. Now, Travis Etienne also needs to stay healthy. That is something that we cannot afford to lose. If Travis Etienne gets hurt, that is going to be a really, really big problem. We're going to explain why. We're going to talk about the running back position in full detail here in 1 second. But we would not be able to do today's show if it weren't for our friends over at Prize Picks. Ladies and gentlemen, I love Prize Picks, and so will you. So make sure you download the app by clicking the link in the comments and description of this video today. And new users, plug in the promo code HMA. You play $5, you'll get $150 in bonus lineups if you win. Prize Picks is the best way to win money while watching your favorite teams, your favorite players, and your favorite sports. And the app is so easy to use, even a Falcons fan can do it. You just pick more or less on a few player stats. You get your picks right, you win money. It's that simple. So whether you're tuning into football, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, tennis, esports, racing, WNBA, lacrosse, golf, darts, fighting. I mean, the possibilities truly are endless to cash in. So turn your ball knowledge into cold, hard cash with Prize Picks today. Now, I have a CFB season Prize Picks projection that we can show. And we also have a week 1 projection that we can show. Chris Olave, I think that he is going to have a really good week in week 1. I got the number at 69.5 yards before Jordan Tyson got hurt. And they'll now a little bit higher, so go take advantage of Prize Picks before the number goes up again. Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm going to take him to find the end zone at least once. And Chase Young, he's going to find a sack. Like that, to me, just feels like such a lock. But you never know, so that's why you should test your ball knowledge with Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use the promo code HMA. Play $5. You get $150 of bonus lineups if you win. Shout out to Prize Picks, where it's always good to be right. Now I want to take a look at the running back depth chart here because I think that the running back room obviously is an area that there's a lot of depth, but not depth isn't necessarily healthy. Your running back 1, Travis Etienne, he's healthy. That's great news. Kind of going back to the point that started this conversation, he needs to stay healthy because Alvin Kamara is expected to miss about a month, which would put him back, Alvin Kamara is going to be out about a month due to a sprained MCL. He suffered MCL sprains both 2019 and 2025. Kendre Miller is somebody who's now available, and I think he has a very clear path to the roster as long as he can stay healthy, but he's never proven that he's reliable enough to do that. Zamir White, a new addition to the roster. Audric Estime returned to practice. CJ Donaldson has shown some pop. Ty Chandler is now dealing with an injury. Nick Underhill reporting he suffered a knee injury that is feared to be serious, so he may not end up even being a part of the roster anymore. Like the rushing attack for New Orleans has been something that's been a problem for a while. The Saints need to have a competent ground game. You cannot trot Tyler Shuck out there and have a bad rushing attack. It will be detrimental to the offense. The offensive line needs to show up. The ground game needs to show up. Like that's going to help Tyler Shuck in such a big way. And for a guy who's losing weapons and they're dropping like flies to injuries, you really need to make sure that you are setting yourself up for success. So keeping Travis Etienne Jr. healthy is a huge, huge priority. Please, football gods, don't screw us here. And Alvin Kamara, please get back sooner rather than later. If he does return, or if he is healthy, then he should return, around week 1, 2, 3, give or take. But we'll ultimately have to see what'll happen. Now, some more injury concerns for the New Orleans Saints. Jordan Tyson's already missing time. Like, I think that all of us can agree. Jordan Tyson was a really fun draft pick. But we also can all agree we knew the concerns going into it. We knew that this was going to be a risk. The only concern around Jordan Tyson was the injuries. We knew that he had off-the-charts talent. We knew that he was a game changer. We knew that he is somebody who could take this team to the next level. But the big if is if he can stay on the field. He could end up on the short-term IR. Tyson is expected to be out for roughly 2 months due to a hamstring injury that he suffered in joint practices with the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's really frustrating because that was the first joint practice session. And he was healthy all throughout training camp. And the first time you go out there, the first practice you get to go and hit somebody else, you get hurt. Does not help at all when it comes to the injury-prone diagnosis. I hope Jordan Tyson can shake these injuries. I hope that this is not a lingering problem. To be totally honest, I have severe PTSD from how the New Orleans Saints dealt with the Michael Thomas situation and just him being such a talented player being lost to injuries. Like, he is arguably one of the greatest what-ifs in sports history when it comes to what if he didn't get hurt. I hope Jordan Tyson can shake these injuries. I pray that this is not something that comes to bite us in the ass multiple times throughout the season and for years to come. Jordan Tyson is an exceptional talent. All of the reports out there are suggesting that he is truly somebody whose talent cannot be described at practices. So if he can get healthy and he can put in the work to get past these injury red flags, it's going to take time. Like, it's not even going to be this year. It's going to have to probably take a year or two for this to happen. But if he can get past this, then we got a really, really special player in our lap. If he can't, we're in serious trouble, and you might have wasted the 8th overall pick. Now, I don't want to say that you wasted it yet because the projected return is mid to late October. Anywhere from weeks 6 to 9 kind of feels like the sweet spot. Week 6, you're on the road to the New York Giants. Week 7, you head over to Paris to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Week 8, that's your bye week. So that feels like a good time to like activate him and kind of get him ready before you take on the Cleveland Browns in Week 9 at home. Who knows what will happen when it comes to his activation, but that is kind of the timeline, the projected timeline as far as we're aware up to this point. Now, how worried are you about the injury problems for the New Orleans Saints? Scale it for me 1 to 10. 1 meaning you're not worried about it, hardly at all. 10 meaning you lose sleep because of how concerning these injuries are. I'm probably somewhere around a 6.5 to a 7, but I don't necessarily know where you are, which is why I want you to share your thoughts. Now, this has been very, very heavily focused on the offense because I do have a lot of confidence in the defense. And I think that the depth that the Saints defense has is pretty good across the board, except for in one spot. And that's the interior defensive line. You're running out of options, quite frankly. I mean, Brian Brzee is already going to be out for the entire season due to a torn ACL. That is a major loss. You got Nathan Shepard. You got Devon Godshaw. You got Vernon Broughton. Thank God you drafted Christian Miller. Like, thank God you traded for John Ridgeway a few years ago. You really are running out of options, though, for bodies who can hold up the interior of the defensive line. The edge rushers I'm not as worried about. You got some good depth, you got some interesting players, and you got some high-level talent. The interior, though, you really are running out of options. And it was a real bummer to lose Brian Brzee. I thought that this was going to be the year he broke out. I thought that this was going to be finally put it all together. I mean, he's flashed as a pass rusher. He showed real growth as a run stopper. Just needed to see him put it all together. And I thought that was going to happen this year. Obviously, we don't get to see it. Tears his ACL on the first day of training camp. That is terrible luck. And I feel awful. I hate this for Brian Brzee. But I will tell you right now, the reason that the defensive line is the focus for this video and not the whole defense at all, and why we've spent so much time on the offense, is because I think a bad defensive line is detrimental to a defense. Because I believe in the corners that we have. I believe in the defensive back area. I believe in the safety. Like, I think that in coverage, we'll be able to hold up. But if you can't create pressure and you can't stop the run and you can't get to the backfield and you can't get any sacks and you like that's going to be so bad for the Saints defense. And a lot of that has to do with the interior of the defensive line. So for me, I want to see the New Orleans Saints win in the trenches because I already have a lot of confidence in everywhere else. I like the linebacker group. I like your corners, your safeties I got confidence in, your edge rushers, I like them. But the interior of the defensive line, I think, is the biggest weakness for the Saints defense. And if any injuries happen there, I mean, shoot, are you confident in John Ridgeway or, J.R. Suggs or somebody starting? I don't know if I am. Christian Boyd, Miles Cole, like, no disrespect. I don't think I'm comfortable with that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I will say, thank you so much for watching today's video. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. If you would like more content by fans for fans for 100% free, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Over 60,000 members of the Golden Gang. We're on the road to 70K, and you can help us reach that milestone. You're not subscribing to a YouTube channel. You're joining a family. So join the Golden Gang, join my squad, and be a part of the best community on YouTube that roots for the black and gold. My name is Trizzy. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time. All righty. One more segment to go. If you haven't already, make sure you use hashtag Saints or send in a super chat. And Lopez, let's go to the photo as well if you can. So the player ranks, the positions need to be on the bottom and the injuries need to be up top. No, yeah, it's just because they weren't all the same size. Like, it just messes with it. All Gucci. Who wants to join the mailbag? Hashtag Saints or send in a super chat. We currently got 45 people watching right now, live on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, friendly reminder, and this will probably be the last reminder of the day. On game days, we do raffles. On Mondays, we like to help you out. You're a real one for tuning in on Monday afternoons. So, as a thank you and as a gesture of my appreciation, we want to make the donations a little bit. Ooh, look, play now. I want to make the donations a little bit more interesting here. If you are able to send in a $5 super chat, on game day, it's normally 1 ticket. Today on Monday, it's 2 tickets. Send in $10, we get to spin the ticket wheel, which all prizes are worth 2x, meaning you could win 20 tickets for the price of $10. That is not an offer on game days. So if you want to maximize your winnings, spin the wheel. The jackpots were hitting like crazy on game day. I bet the wheel is still pretty hot. We haven't gotten to do it quite yet. So I'll tell you what, first person to send in $5, might as well spin the wheel too. Maybe you guys want to see the wheel in action. Does anybody want to take advantage of the deal? Would anyone like to buy a raffle ticket ahead of time to enhance and improve your chances to win the giveaway? This is what we're raffling away, a Saints Now logo t-shirt. If you don't want to enter the raffle, totally fine. But whenever you go and buy a shirt and you're like, shit, I paid $25 for it when I could have just paid $5, don't get mad at me. Don't be upset with me. That's on you. That's 100% on you. I gave you the opportunities. I gave you plenty of opportunities. We'll have to see if anyone wants to take advantage. As always, hashtag Saints are sending a super chat. If you would like to join the program. U.S. champ. I'll put you down. Yes. Let's go ahead and give him a wheel spin, too. U.S. champ taking advantage. First one and only one of the day so far. Queen Courtney sent a $2 super chat, but the deal's $5. All right. So 1 ticket, 5 tickets, 1 ticket, 2 tickets, 3 tickets, 2 tickets, 3 tickets, 10 tickets. And again, whatever you land on here is worth 2x. So U.S. champ, let's see what you got. 3, 2, 1. How many tickets is he going to win? How many is he going to win? An extra 4 tickets. So he's at 6 on the day. Paid $5, he got 6 tickets. I'd say that's pretty good value, Lopez. Less than $1 a ticket.
That's great value.
You're telling me you could get a almost $30 t-shirt for less than $1 a ticket.
That's exactly what we're saying.
I mean, come on now. Come on now. Anybody else? Anybody else want to spin the wheel here? $10, you can be the next one to spin the wheel. $5, you get 2 tickets.
He also got to get on screen.
Yeah. Shout out to U.S. champ. Shout out to U.S. champ. I'll set a 2-minute timer. And then in 2 minutes, we'll get into the mailbag if nobody else sends in a super chat. I think the starters will play Friday night? Great question, Jerry G. 2 minutes on the clock. If we get a super chat, we'll spin the wheel for you, or we'll give you your raffle tickets. If not, then we will get into the last segment and sign off for the day. 25 seconds in. $5 is 2 raffle tickets on Monday as opposed to 1 ticket. Can you go back to the photo, Lopez? 2 tickets on Monday as opposed to 1 on game day. This is the t-shirt that we're raffling away, a Saints Now logo shirt. Brand new logo. You'll be one of the first owners of this proud shirt. $10, you get to spin the wheel like my guy U.S. champ did. We made a deal with whoever sent in the first $5 got to spin the wheel. But now $10, you can spin the wheel and get up to 20 tickets. 1 minute down. Is anybody else going to spin the wheel? Anyone else? I know somebody wants to. I know somebody's itching to spin the wheel. Or at least to buy some tickets. Ladies and gentlemen, don't say I didn't warn you. If you want tickets on game day, you're better off buying them right now. Because $5 on game day is just 1 ticket. That's 2 today. $10, you get to spin the wheel, but there's not as many opportunities to win
we got
tickets.
one.
Hey, D-Rushing. There we go. Let's add you to the list, my friend. Dell Rushing. I'm going to go ahead and give you your 2.
We spinning the wheel?
No, because it was just the first person.
Oops.
So Dell Rushing getting 2 tickets. So US Champ has 6. Dell Rushing has 2. If you want to spin the wheel, $10. If you want to buy 2 tickets, $5. Clock starts once again.
Dell.
Thank you, Dell. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Bayou Raider, you still watching? You still watching, bro? You want to party? You want to throw down? You want to throw down? 10 seconds remaining. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And all righty. We're going to do the mailbag, and then we'll do another shot clock, and then we'll sign off. How's that sound? Good? Good. All righty, Lopez. Last segment of the day. Last segment of the day. D Rushing, thank you. US Champ, thank you. Queen Courtney, thank you. Really appreciate all of y'all for supporting the program. Alrighty. Let's chop it up.
Yeah. You ready?
Yep.
3, 2.
I've seen a lot of conversations around Saints fans on social media and in my comment section that New Orleans should go and sign quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, the veteran, to bring in some depth to the QB room. And we're going to talk about it here on this episode of Saints Now, presented by Prize Picks. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. Obviously, the quarterback 2 battle between Spencer Rattler and Zach Wilson has been extremely underwhelming. I don't think either one of these players has really separated themselves as the guy. I don't think I have confidence in either one of these players to run the offense if Tyler Shuck goes down with an injury. Maybe for a couple of plays, whatever. But if I have to watch multiple games of one of these with the starters, I don't think that they're necessarily going to run the offense at an efficient level. Now, obviously, throughout the preseason, Wilson and Rattler have had their ups and downs, but I do still think that these guys are both a better option than Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, sure, he's a Super Bowl champion twice, and sure, he has had some good football throughout his career, but he hasn't really done anything in quite some time. In 2025, he didn't log any stats. In 2024, in one game played, 334 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. 2023, did all right. Nothing crazy. 2022 was fine. Nothing outrageous. But at the end of the day, I don't necessarily think that Jimmy Garoppolo fixes your backup quarterback problem. I mean, is the point of bringing in Jimmy Garoppolo to provide that veteran leadership and that veteran experience? Sure. But do you kind of already get that through Kellen Moore, Scott Tolzien, and Doug Nussmeier? I think so. And my biggest gripe with this argument, and it's not just Jimmy Garoppolo, but it's the whole bring in a veteran quarterback thing. I don't think that is something the Saints are looking to do right now. Wouldn't they have already done that if that was what they were wanting to accomplish or a move that they wanted to make? If that was such a big priority and a desire they had so strongly, wouldn't they have already signed a veteran quarterback, whether it was Jimmy G or anyone else? I just have a hard time believing that that's what New Orleans wants to do. Now, is that what they should do? That's an entirely different conversation. I don't necessarily think that signing Jimmy G is going to make a massive impact. Could he give you a little bit of help holding the clipboard? And could he be more serviceable than a Spencer Rattler, Zach Wilson? Maybe. But I do want to give a little bit of credit to Zach Wilson because he has learned the offense quickly. I mean, going back to Jimmy Garoppolo, he's almost 35 years old. It's been a long time since he took meaningful snaps. And quite frankly, I believe that Zach Wilson or Spencer Rattler could run the offense better than Jimmy G. And Zach Wilson has learned the offense quickly. And I think it's a testament to Kellen Moore because we have seen a player join the system very recently, learn it, and go out there and execute it at a high level. First preseason game, he played awesome whenever he was on the field. Second preseason game, different story. But you got to give him a little bit of credit. He's learned the offense fairly fast. And I think that I would have confidence more so in Zach Wilson than Spencer Rattler right now to go and run the offense. Again, it's not even by much. And depending on the hour of the day, I'm flipping my take on that. But at the end, like this whole conversation, remember, it's just about the backup quarterback. Like, this isn't the starter. This isn't, is Tyler Shuck going to lose his job to Jimmy G? Do we need somebody to come in and be a bridge quarterback? That's not the conversation. This is strictly around the backup quarterback. At the end of the day, Tyler Shuck just needs to stay healthy. That's the biggest thing that could happen. That's the biggest blessing that the Saints could receive. Tyler Shuck staying healthy is the best case scenario. In a perfect world, you don't ever have to see Zach Wilson or Spencer Rattler or Jimmy Garoppolo go and touch the field in a Saints uniform. In a perfect world, the only time you see them do that maybe be for victory formation. That's it. Like, I don't want to see Zach Wilson. I don't want to see Spencer Rattler. I don't want to see Jimmy Garoppolo start for my football team. I don't think that that's going to end very well. And at the end of the day, I think that the New Orleans Saints need to pick their QB2, probably just say a prayer that Jimmy Garoppolo or that Tyler Shuck stays healthy, and ultimately go out there and execute. And at the end of the day, I do have confidence that Zach Wilson or Rattler would be better than Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm just not a fan of that idea. But if you are, let me know in the comment section why. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we wouldn't be able to do today's show if it weren't for our friends over at Prize Picks. If you want to download the app today, use our promo code HMA. That way, if you're a new user, when you play $5, you'll get $150 in bonus lineups. If you win that lineup, Prize Picks is the best place to turn your ball knowledge into cold, hard cash. Whether you're tuning in to football, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, tennis, esports, racing, WNBA, fighting, lacrosse, golf. I mean, the possibilities truly are endless over on Prize Picks, and it's so easy to play. Even a Falcons fan can do it. Just pick more or less on a few player stats, and if you get your picks right, you win money in real time. And I don't want to sit here and say I'm a financial advisor, because I am not. I am simply a husky guy with a headset. But I will tell you, this feels like a week one can't lose lineup. Sam Darnold, half a passing yard. That's a Prize Picks guaranteed pick. It's a little promo they're running. Throw that in your lineup just to juice your winnings. Chase Young, get half a sack. That's going to happen. Tyler Shuck, 2 passing touchdowns. I could see one to Juwan Johnson, and I could see one to Chris Olave. That happens, we're greening out, baby. Daniil Hunter, go get 1 sack. CeeDee Lamb, 1 touchdown. I like this lineup, and I like my chances to win this lineup. $10 to win $275. Let's take that one to the frickin' bank. Thanks to Prize Picks, I'm going to cash in on game day, and so can you. Download the app. Use our promo code HMA. New users, play $5, get $150 in bonus lineups if you win. Shout out to Prize Picks, where it's always good to be right. Click the link in the live chat and comments of this in description of this video to get started today. Now, before I start answering your questions, I want you to answer one of my questions. Pick a quarterback 2 for me. Behind Tyler Shuck, who should hold the reins? Spencer Rattler, Zach Wilson, or Jimmy Garoppolo? Type their initials down below. I personally think, put me on the spot here, Zach Wilson. I don't want anything to do with Jimmy G. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. That's just my take. Now, I love football. Trizzy Lopez, I ain't going to lie, man. I'm kind of nervous about week 1 against the Lions with these injuries. I don't think we're going to be ready. What's your thoughts? Look, injuries are very obviously a problem already for the New Orleans Saints. And I just think that that's the cards that you were dealt. Will they be ready? Doesn't matter. They're going to have to be. Like, the Lions are also a good team. They have a good roster. They're kind of in a good position, I'd say. The New Orleans Saints are dealing with a laundry list of injuries. You will be likely missing Jordan Tyson, Alvin Kamara, Cam Jordan. Like, all those guys could be missing week 1. Pray to God that's not the case and it's just Tyson or something. But, look, what are my thoughts about week 1? Pray to God that we're healthy. If we are healthy, I do think that that's a game that I predicted that to be a game that the Saints could steal. Crazy shit happens in week 1. Maybe that's one that they run away with. But if they're not healthy, I don't know. But, I mean, I am a believer that as long as you got Tyler Shuck, you got a chance to win. We've seen him do crazy things with bad rosters. So, my thoughts are say a prayer that everyone stays healthy and Tyler Shuck go have a legacy game. Nola Chop Podcast. I know there wasn't too many positive takeaways from the blowout loss to the Rams, but if there are any positives you can take away from the loss, what would it be? Kendre Miller, got a heavy workload and didn't get hurt, which was pretty cool. That's kind of it. Ryan Wright looked good. Bryce Lance had a couple good catches. Like, I'd say that's kind of it. It's very, very, you got to be nitpicky. You got to really dig deep to find it. I mean, the Saints didn't force any sacks. They didn't force any turnovers. They made 2 trips to the red zone and forced the ball over twice. Both quarterbacks threw an interception. Ty Chandler fumble. There wasn't a lot of good. I'd say the best thing that you learned is that Kendre Miller at least stayed healthy. Bryce Lance made a couple great catches. And Ryan Wright is going to be an awesome punter. I think that's what you learned. Jerry G, do you think the starters will play Friday night? If yes, I say 2 or 3 series just to get a feel. Now, I personally think that the New Orleans Saints should at least play their starters for a little bit in the third preseason matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not going to sit here and say they should play a half. I'm with you. I'd say 1 to 2, maybe 3 series, depending on how those series go. If you get a touchdown, you're good. If you go 3 and out, you probably got to trot them out there at least one more time. But I do agree with you, Jerry. I think the Saints need to get a feel, especially on offense. I'd like to see the defense go out there and do something good as well. I don't think you need to play them the full game. I think that'd actually be silly, but a couple of drives I do think make some sense. You wasted a preseason game against the Rams. The first one was pretty solid, but my fear is if you don't put your starters on the field at all before week 1, they're going to get on week 1, and every time they get hit, they're going to come off the field with a stinger or because they're hurt or they got bumps or they got bruises, and that's not a good situation to be in. So ultimately, I do think that the Saints need to put their starters out there for at least a little bit. I'm not going to ask for anything outrageous, just 1 or 2 series, and I think you can be confident and happy with that and let the backups in the roster bubbles guys continue their positional battles. But I would be shocked if the Saints didn't at least put their starters out for a little bit. I think that's the best play moving forward. Again, you got to be smart and be cautious with the injuries, but you also got to take the bubble wrap off at some point. I mean, you're a professional football player. Nut up, be tough, and go and hit somebody. Jerry, do you think? Appreciate your question. What running back would y'all consider cutting and why? From Kuno Edits, it's a good question. The running back that I'm considering cutting, honestly, it's a tough answer for me because Travis Etienne, Alvin Kamara, and Kendre Miller are all very, very talented. Now, Kendre hasn't proven that he can stay healthy, so that's the big concern around him. But I think that he has a clear path to make the roster as long as he's not hurt on roster cutdown day. Devin Neal might be the player that I actually end up considering cutting out of the Saints running back room. He got a lot of production at Kansas, but I think it came at the expense of wearing off a lot of tread on the tires. And my fear with the black and gold is that Devin Neal's hamstring injury is going to be something that lingers and creates problems. And, you know, the Saints went ahead and traded for Zamir White to bring in some extra insurance in the running back room. So to me, that says they're not necessarily stoked with the situation they got. They feel like they need a couple extra bodies or at least an extra set of legs. Now, Audric Estime, I think he's a really, really physical runner. I really like him. He could end up making the roster, or he could end up being cut. I think he's kind of in the same conversation, but we're going to have to see what Kellen Moore is thinking with roster cutdown day being on Sunday, August 30th. U.S. champ, what quarterback would you bring in to back up Tyler? Taylon Green, Arkansas legend, member of the Cleveland Browns. They just named Deshaun Watson as the QB1. They have Shedeur Sanders, who's obviously the greatest quarterback of all time. They have Dylan Gabriel in the mix, too. Go and get my boy Taylon Green. He's a freaking Lamar Jackson 2.0. Realistically, that'd be kind of my dream situation as an Arkansas alum and as a Saints fan. But truly, at the quarterback position, there's really not a lot of great options in free agency when it comes to the depth. I mean, I want nothing to do with Desmond Ridder. I want nothing to do with some of those other, like Clayton Tune. Like, oh, I'm good. No thanks. Now, if somebody becomes available via a trade as we get closer to roster cutdown day, that is something I'd at least be interested in learning about, depending on the cost. Free agency-wise, there's not a lot of great options available right now, so this could be a conversation we revisit after roster cuts happen and, you know, teams get rid of some of those quarterbacks. Maybe you go and poach a guy off a practice squad or go sign somebody who ends up being a casualty of roster cutdown day. Ladies and gentlemen, I really do appreciate y'all for hanging out with us here on this episode of Saints Now presented by Prize Picks. By the way, on that last question, we spent the first part of this video talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. I want nothing to do with him. No thank you whatsoever. But I do want to say I appreciate you for hanging out with us and supporting the show. Even just by watching and hanging out for a few minutes, it really helps me out. Y'all stay golden. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. My name is Trizzy, and we'll see you next time. All righty. Let's set our last 2-minute timer. Lopez, would you mind pulling up the photo one more time for me?
One more time. Everybody get your raffle tickets in right
now. I gotta celebrate. Oh, yeah. All right, Tyler, shuck it. We're giving away a Saints Now logo shirt. You can rep the brand and rep the Golden Gang, the squad here. $5, you get 2 raffle tickets on game day. That only becomes 1 ticket. $10, you get to spin our ticket wheel, which all values are doubled. And that is only a Monday special. So if you would like to do one of those things, last chance. 2 minutes on the clock starting now. 2 minutes. 2 minutes remaining. If you would like to send in a super chat and get your raffle tickets early, we're going to be sending this away during the 3rd and final preseason game this weekend on Friday night. So if you want to win this shirt, buy your tickets now for your best odds and to maximize your tickets. Ricky Kell giving me a hoot at. Jerry G still in the chat. Nola Chop. I love football hanging out with us.
No,
Uncle Droop, good to see you, my friend.
Hey, game day legend.
He is a game day legend. Who would I bring in at defensive tackle? If we can get Christian Wilkins injuries updates, I'd be interested to learn about it.
I don't think he is on an NFL roster ever again. I don't think the injuries are the problem.
You don't think the injuries are the issue?
Something happened in that Raiders
He hasn't been
locker
cleared
room.
from injuries. Like he hasn't technically been it's still a lot of gray area as to where he's at injury wise. If he is healthy, I'd at least have a conversation about it. But I'd want to know what's going on in the locker room.
I fully believe
I'd want to know what happened.
That
there.
is the reason he has not had more juice around his name.
I don't disagree.
Something happened in that Raiders locker room. He is. I don't want to throw out the term blackballed, but that's what it feels like.
No, I think
I don't know if he plays in the NFL again.
I don't disagree. I don't think that's a bad take whatsoever. I could totally see that being the case. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what else is the case? You only got 30 seconds remaining to get your raffle tickets in. Only a couple people took advantage. So far, the raffle list consists of 6 entries from U.S. Champ and 2 entries from Dell Rushing. Thank you, guys. We're 10 seconds away. Officially, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All righty. We are going to sign off. The next time we are live will be Friday night, 1 hour before kickoff. We will see y'all there. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. My guy, Loco Lopez. Thank you so much for rocking and roll with us. Y'all stay golden, and we will see you next time.